Welcome to Empyrion Galactic Survival Alpha 12.3 Experimental, and for once we are at the beginning of a new day and it's not raining on this planet. I mean, it's one of the characteristics of this planet, and what I want to do in this part is get up into space. It's not part of the normal sequence I would do in a Let's Play, but because we've got phase 4 on the way, it could be here within a few days. I'm going to be doing two things. What I'm going to do probably for the rest of the experimental is I'm going to try and get a video up every other day, and probably possibly even more than that with time permitting. And the other thing is that what I'm going to do is break the sequence of what I would normally do in a playthrough, because what I would normally do in a playthrough now is get out and do some more exploration, get some resources, probably build a new base, upgrade the SV before we go out and do anything else. But what I want to do in this part is actually get up into space, because I want to check space up to see how things are going. Now, I want to say a big thank you for all your comments and feedback. You give me so much to think about, and I'll just give you a little bit of a run round the base. And you can see what I've actually done is put a med station in. I actually picked one up somewhere, so I've actually deployed it. And also something else that Terry Beer pointed out, and to be honest, I hadn't noticed. In fact, when I first came around this corner, I thought the armor locker disappeared, but what we've actually got now is a new look for the armor locker. I think it's pretty cool, actually. I think it kind of fits more in with what the base would look like rather than that big chunky layout there. And the other thing I've also done is put in a second cargo box, because what I did since the last video is I've been out now and I've virtually explored the entire planet. You can see here I've opened up virtually the whole planet. We've got some nice big clusters of Xerax bases here, although to be honest, the current ship really doesn't have the ability to get in amongst this. I think one of these up around here is, yeah, here's the drone base, and of course it's got to be right next to the Promethium and Copper. So that's the way the planet actually looks. It's pretty good, actually. The other thing I've also done, if I show you here, is I swung down and I completed the mission to kill predators for Talon. So we're now friendly with the Talon. So we now have the ability to mine and pick plants in Talon territory. And if you're not sure what I'm actually talking about, come out here. We go to Talon. It's this pest control, but we got 35 minutes before we can do this again. I mean, we got other missions as well that we could do, but that's not what I want to do in this part. Now, because we're going to go up in space, what I've actually also done is, if we walk this way, I've put out a water generator. So we'll just go down and collect the water, because if we're going up into space, I'm going to need oxygen. And the other thing I've also done is put in on heavy armor. Whilst I was exploring, I found the one gold reserve on the planet, and of course it had to be in Talon territory, so I had to upset the Talon a little bit to be able to mine that gold out so that I can actually make the EVA boost, because there's no point trying to go up into space without an EVA protection. You won't last very long, even in heavy armor, because of the temperature. So we're just going to get here and open up. We got 23. That should, oops, oh great. And oh well, I know, I'm just going to leave it. I mean, all I need is the water for oxygen. Yeah, I should have brought the ship. Yeah, a bit of a fail on my part there, but there should be enough there for what I'm going to need to do in this part. Because, let's say, what I want to do is get up in space. I want to try out the scanner in space, see if we can find an asteroid. Because one thing I've really hated about this game up until this point is the fact, because you couldn't scan in space, I mean, it was just so time consuming wandering around trying to find asteroids that had rare resources in. And to be honest, I only ever mind asteroids if I happen to stumble across one by accident. So we're just going to put this in here, and we go in here. Oh, we've got a little bit of ore, and I mean, we've got steel plates and that, and we've got the water. I think we'll probably just do 10. Don't think I'm going to need more than that. Just want to check. I think I actually made some ammunition. So let's have a quick check of the freedom. Yeah, we got 2,000 rounds of ammunition. The other thing I've also done is picked up the emergency oxygen generator, and I'm just wondering whether I need the possible temperature regulator as well, although I seem to have lost it somewhere. I think it might be in the wreckage. Let's have a look here. Got cargo box 5, yeah. I think we're going to take the portable heater with us, just in case we land on the moon, if we can get to the moon, just to make sure the moon doesn't overheat us. Oh, and the other thing I also need to do is get into here, go back to cargo box 3. We're going to need the EVA boost as well, and I mean, we've got some oxygen being churned out now, so let's get this set up. Actually, just flip this. Large wreckage 5, freedom, oxygen 3. Gives me 94%, and what we'll probably do is just take some extra along just to be on the safe side. All we need now is our EVA boost. So we need some food as well. Let me just power up. Power this up. Really should put a wireless connection in. Fridge. Take the meat, so take that. I've made an Elyon cake because that seems to be something you can make with flour and milk. Take that with us. I've also made some meat burgers. It seems if you've got lots of grain on a planet, you can actually do that. It's just actually just fine. Go back to here. Wreckage. Just to show you, if we go in here, I haven't got much left now. If I show you the Elyon cake, if you've got a couple of berries, some milk, eggs, and flour, you can make this. And this is pretty good actually, because it gives you 170 food. And then the burgers, all you need is meat, bread, and cheese, which you can make from there. So if I had some more meat, I could make myself another meat burger. Where the veggie burgers, you need vegetables. I've also started making out some nutrient solution. I can't remember why, but I started making the nutrient solution for the. Should now have the EVA boost. Of course, we're going to go and put that on. Now, the EVA boost does reduce your armor, but truthfully, in space, I mean, if you watch the armor protection, it says 200. We put the EVA boost on. You see, it reduces it to 120. But to be honest, you need that low temperature protection if we're going to go anywhere. I think, just want to check. I can't remember now whether. I think this should. Where is that's the armor locker. That's the O2 station. We'll just top that up just to make sure. Now, before we go up into space, I do want to talk. Oops, looks like I took a bit more damage. I thought I'd repaired the damage, but yeah, I got a little bit of unwelcome attention when I got close to the some of the Xerox bases. Close that. I think having the shutter is going to be quite important to protect that equipment. And it looks like I've taken some damage on the cockpit as well, so we've got to make sure that's nicely fitted. And I'm getting cooked again. Just have a quick look around. Yeah. Got heat stroke. Now, before we get up into space, I do want to talk about one thing. And I know some of you may not agree with this, but if I throw out a ping, what you will see is the sheer range of this scanner. And to be honest, I think the range is way too far. I think they need to reduce it down to 1500 meters, because what you end up with is when you've got a planet fully explored like this, it just becomes a cluttered mess. And you can see there we've got unidentified objects 2.4 kilometers away, and I personally think that's way too far. In fact, let's just check something. Sorry for the deviation, but we are in the experimental branch, so see, the personal scanner is a bit more kind of handled, and it looks like that goes up to 1,000 meters. I think I know why they've increased the range, because I think what's going to happen is once we get up into space, the extra range is going to be a lot more useful, because we will be looking for asteroids. So here we are, we're up in space. Of course, we're going to take a look at the moon. So, because we're in space now, you can see we've got the moon here, we've got the Dido moon. And everything's green. I don't know if that's me. And of course, this is the system we're in. And in some ways, I really like this system layout, because if we show the warp planes, this kind of represents what it would take to travel between the different features within a system. So it says 6.1 astronomical units, 8.1 astronomical units. So I think that is quite relevant, really, because it's a bit like the solar system, where we can get to the moon in a matter of a few days, but to get right out to the outer planets would take, well, years. I think it would take. I think I really like this layout here. And of course, we got the galaxy map here, and traveling between these is going to be fun. Anyway, let's get back to here, and I'm just going to tell. The only downside of this is the fact that if you've got this switched on, it makes things a little bit too much. You can see we get a full breakdown of what's actually, they're actually calling it a sector, but I suppose in some ways it is a planetary system, which I suppose is the sector. And I don't know, can we get information now? I think the information one is up here now. That's the system. That's the sector. I'm sure that, yeah, that's it. I think you've got to select it first. So the moon is barren, small. It's only got one resource of each. Wow, this start is very tight on the problem. Of course, we've got to throw out a scan. Wow, looks like we may have some hostiles. It's actually giving us the target to the moon as well. I think that's pretty useful. I'm a little bit worried about going out. Yeah, we're out the atmosphere now, so we can actually see what we're going. Is the moon that far away? The moon's not there. There's the moon. Oh, that's the moon. What's that over there then? This is where I'm gonna get myself killed, isn't it? Right, we'll just turn off the inertia drive. And let's just go and see what the Polaris option is here. I must admit, I am a little bit nervous, because they may open fire on me. We've actually found a Polaris ship, which is probably traveling a lot faster than I am. Okay, I'm not. Well, it says there's asteroids over that way. Of course, if you look down to the planet now, you can see the new tagging system. You no longer have the problem of trying to guess where your base is on a planet from the topology. I'm just curious to see if those are asteroids. I am a little bit worried about the red dot on the top bit there, but hopefully it won't be something that's that big. I'm drifting a bit, so I'm just gonna give myself a little bit more control. I would certainly like to be able to check out one asteroid. I think this is going to be one of the great new features of the game. I've got a feeling, based on the resources on the planet for this start, getting up out and finding the asteroids is going to be a little bit advantageous. Just turn that off. I'm just going to drift towards them. What's that there? Looks like there's lots of Polaris ships in this system. And of course, we'll have the new factions eventually. That's adding insult to injury, that is, the silicon actually. So let's just come down on that asteroid. And see if we can find some silicon. Don't want to mine too much because otherwise I'm going to have to end up going back to the planet to see what's going on. And what you will see is that I'm pretty sure that light patch there will be the silicon. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's silicon. We should be able to come up to it. And of course, if you've got the mining fixtures on the front of a ship, this becomes quite easy. But of course, we're going to have to do it the hard way. And of course, if you look in the top right there, you see that the temperature outside is minus 110. So, of course, we're certainly going to come in here. I'm not going to spend too long mining this, but I just want to see what we get. Wow, look at that. Yeah, I think getting out and mining these asteroids is going to become a feature of the game, which then probably leads into something a couple of you pointed out in the comments about the crashed SV. That SV is going to be quite a useful way to start going forward, because getting up into space is going to be pretty important from now on. I'm just going to turn off the inertia drive, and we're just going to drift round the planet. How much silicon did we get from? Oops. How much silicon did we get from there? We got 148 silicon and a little bit of rock, and we're looking pretty good. Let's break that link there. And I think what I want to do now is head to the moon. It's round the back of the planet here. Yes. Well, we can probably go over the top of the planet actually. There we are, we have moonrise. We're just going to line up on the moon and then just let the ship drift with the inertia. Maybe we'll just throw out a... So I'm kind of coming to the conclusion that the scanner is both a blessing and a bit of a curse. Yes, it's a blessing in finding the asteroids, but it makes me a little bit nervous seeing all those hostile red dots on there. Anyway, what I'll do now is we're just going to fly towards the moon, and I'll see you once we actually get there. So here we are, we're coming up on the moon. Let's turn off the inertia drive. It's taken a little while to get here, but then they did say in the release notes for Alpha 12 that they had increased the distances between planets within the same system or same area, and that makes sense. What we're going to do is try and get over the top so we can land on the light side. We can actually see what we're doing. And whilst I was actually traveling to it, I did have a little bit of a thought with respect to the scanner, and considering they have different ranges for on the planet and in space for weapons, I do wonder whether maybe there's some way that they could make it say this. I just wonder whether they could configure the scanner to say that maybe it does a kilometer, 1500 meters on a planet, and then does 3-4 kilometers actually out in space. I think that would probably be a pretty good compromise, really. Right, we've got loads of resources. See what I mean? I've done one ping and I've kind of exposed virtually the whole moon. And I think that takes away some of the interest, because what we could do is just tag these. That's pentaxid. I know this is going to be a little bit of a cheat. That's iron. That's a minigun drone. It won't tell me what it is. Well, we'll go and shoot the minigun drone so you can... That's... Oops. Obviously it only works when the scanner is active. I think we'll go and rough up the minigun drone. I think the other problem with the range of the scanner is that it just makes everything look so cluttered. And again, if I can do this, but then I turn off everything. Let's make sure guns are loaded. I can't tell with all the clutter. Just get rid of that. Well, you can't see whether you're actually hitting the drone. I think I was watching Spange and he was saying that they've actually increased the armor on drones, and I must admit I had noticed that the drones seem to be a little bit harder to put down. Right, we found a small promethium deposit. That could be useful. Yeah, we're in 0x territory, but that'll be okay. I'm just gonna jump out here. I'm just some cobalt alloy, some minigun ammunition. No, I'm not going to mine the promethium. Small pentaxid over that way. What's over here? It makes everything difficult to read, and it's going to make combat a little bit tricky as well. What is that base there? Cannon drone, minigun drone. I don't think we've actually uncovered whatever that is. It is just a power station. Power stations have weapons, so, and of course one thing you can do with the moon is drop right down. Oops. A listening post there that's got weapons. Iron there. Silicon, we got a couple of cannon drones, gain height. We can shoot them from above. A little bit too high. Don't think what's the range? 400 meters. Oh, I should be hitting him. Oh, there he is. Go down. That's actually a lot. Actually, quite strangely, the small ones took longer to go down. The large minigun drone went down quicker than what I would have expected. So maybe they've only increased the armor on the smaller. Wow. Yeah. So we're just going to get in here. Grab this. Just loot the drones. I mean, I'm using the ammunition to shoot them, so got some sniper ammunition. There's the large drone there. Certainly sneak in and get him. Careful that I don't push myself off it. Some ammunition, yeah, we'll take that. Change. Some cobalt. Some more resources over there. Something else that says level 1 over that way. And that's actually got a shield on it, so that's probably the drone base. Let's fly out this way. What we got here? Yeah, I've got a feeling it won't take long to explore a moon like this. Large minigun drone. Use this. Okay, here. More silicon. Right, we're in the dark now. Look at that. I mean, to be honest, it's just a mess. Just fly south and west, get back into the daylight. We can actually see what we're doing. Got some more drones here. I think these are the ones I've just shot down, isn't it? Yeah, so they're not disappearing when they're shot down anymore. So I do wonder whether that's a reset, because of course they took away the markings. Never mind, it's not a problem. In some ways, there's part of me that says I actually like that. Something. Fly in. Do a bit of a fly in really low. Spherical port, yeah. Drop down low, below the terrain. Wow. Wow. Yeah, one advantage of the moons is you can drop down into the craters. That looks very much like a crash ship. So, another large minigun drone here. We got a crash DSC front. Gotcha. For some reason the Talon like us for shooting down and drones on another. Then again, I suppose I'm waging war on the Xerax, so I suppose the Talon would like that. Yeah, it's just getting close. Be very careful that I don't push myself off the top of the ship. I'm just going to get in here. Take the power cells, that would be quite useful. I think we've now got ahead of the daylight, so let's go south. I mean, do you have any thrusters and stuff on it? That's the front, so we would have to go. It's just the front section. There might be some thrusters tucked in around this area here. I can't remember if it's the front that's got grow plots in it actually. Right, we got some. Go south. Must admit, I do miss the bar that tells you you are actually damaging them. Right, we got the crash back. I think this is the part of the ship that's got the most of the thrusters on. Okay. Here. Of course, one thing I forgot to do in my haste to leave is I forgot to make some cores. Oops. Let's just put this into here. Give me some little bit more ammunition as such. Probably put the bike in there as well. Be a bit of a mistake, but never mind. And we'll just go and get the cannon drone. Mission pest control now playable again. So what you can do is now it's replayable. You can come back in here and activate it again. Let's go. And once we kill another 10 predators, the Talon will like us even more. And more importantly, we should get some more gold coins, because that mission, just to show you, rewards you with 10 gold coins. I know it's not much cash wise, but it's just, well, it's the fun of doing it, to be honest. So that's a way that you can improve your standing with the Talon. But of course, the best way is to do the main mission. But of course, that's broken here. I'll have a quick look inside here. Got a feeling this. I think just to finish the video off, what we're going to do is we're going to a quick look around here. So I'm walking around with a drill. There we go. Fuel tanks. Wow, I'm certainly going to take 2022. That's pretty useful. Of course, in here somewhere might be something of use. Of course, this is something I haven't done for a very long time, and that's actually drill out one of these ships. Cargo box there. Because what I would normally do is put a core in and just loot the cargo boxes and see what's actually in here. I don't think it's going to let us pick anything up, is it? Salvage. Of course it will. We can salvage out these fuel tanks. I mean, if I was going to go on and build a capital, wow. Okay. Oops. Yeah, it's because I haven't put the link in. 39, wow. Yeah, I mean, if I was going to carry on with this series long term, I would retrieve these tier 3 tanks so that I could put them into a capital vessel, or at the very least I could pick them up and drop them into the workshop, because dropping a tier 3 tank into the workshop for a blueprint would have been very useful. I'm starting to come to the impression that to get titanium, you're far better off mining these hardened blocks than trying to find titanium actually, as you can say, in the wild as a mineable resource. Oops. Oh, that broke quite quickly. Not seeing any thrusters though. That's just a steel block. Have a quick look around, go up to the front and see what's up the front here. Got nothing on the radar at the moment, so we're safe. I think I've got myself trapped now. Oh, we can get out of this. This is where we were just now. There's a couple of antennas here. And top tip, don't try and do this with a survival tool, not unless you've got a very strong finger to hold down the mouse button, because it would, drilling out a crash ship with a survival tool is, let's say, time consuming at the least. Well, we can get rid of you. A few more mechanical components. I mean, crash ships are by far, oops, the best way to do things. And of course, what you can do is, another way to do it is just do this. I'm going to get this antenna from the top. And just get this here. Just go down and see what's at the lowest levels. And there's a lot in here. And a little bit of flash through. Oops. Double tap. Tab. Last thing I want is some drone sneaking up on me. Yeah. Let's just get back to the small vessel. And I think this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Hope you found it interesting. I'm not sure what I'm going to do in the next part. I'm half inclined just to finish off exploring this moon and actually getting some of the resources from here. Certainly wouldn't mind the Promethium. There's only 2 Promethium. And I certainly wouldn't mind the Pentaxid so that we can fuel a warp drive if we were ever going to get around to building one. But I think this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Hope you found it interesting. And until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.